Hello friends, I am Mohit Jain from batch 2018 Electrical Engineering IIT Jodhpur. I am going to be presenting this video on the topic Binary Frequency Shift Key or BFSK. Now let me go through the overview or the things we will cover in this video. First, what BFSK is basically. Second, we'll analyze over what it is. Then we'll see how the signal is transmitted. Then we'll see the spectrum of BFSK. Then we'll see how the signal is received. Then we'll talk about different geometrical representations of BFSK, orthogonal BFSK and non-orthogonal BFSK. Then we'll be calculating the coefficients S11, S12 and S22. So what is BFSK? To know what BFSK is, we will first find out what frequency shift keying or FSK is. It is a frequency modulation scheme in which digital information is transmitted through discrete frequency changes of a carrier signal. It basically helps in the transmission of digital data. As you can see here, we have the data here in the form of 1 and 0, and this is the carrier wave and this is the modulated signal. As you can see, when the frequency is high, this area is similar to the 1 in digital data, and when the signal is low, this is similar to 0 in the digital data. So basically, what FSK does is represents different digital levels in terms of different frequencies, and then such a wave is formed. BFSK is the simplest form of frequency shift keying. BFSK uses a pair of discrete frequencies to transmit binary zeros and ones information. With this scheme, the 1 is called the mark frequency and the 0 is called the space frequency. Here in this figure, F1, as I've already told you, represents 1 from the digital signal and F2 represents 0. BFSK in real life applications has been used in early telephone modems and is mainly used for high frequency, low speed applications. Now let's start with the analysis of BFSK. Here we have two signals. One is the high frequency signal SH of t and one is the low frequency signal SL of t. We can see the value of SH of t is equal to 2ps under root into cos of omega naught minus delta, and SL of t is equal to 2ps under root into cos of omega naught plus delta. With the help of these two equations, VBSK of t is equal to 2ps under root into cos of omega t plus dt into del of t, del t, where the value of dt will vary from being -1 to +1. So as you can see here, dt is the data bit. Now let's come to the transmission of the signal. The transmitter, as you can look here, has two multipliers and an adder. The one signal with the higher frequency is represented by 2 by t root into cos of omega h t, which is multiplied by ps tb under root into ph of t, and the second multiplier multiplies under root 2 of t into cos omega lt, which is the lower energy signal, lower frequency signal, and pstb under root pl of t. So as you can see, we are giving two inputs to the system, and the system is made such that only one of these inputs passes through the adder, and this is VBSK here, VBFSK. Now when the digital signal is equal to 1, then the value of pH equal to +1 and the value of PL equal to 0. In this case, only the signal with the high frequency passes. As in this case, this is this one with the omega h term. when the digital signal is at -1, then pH equal to 0 and PL, I'm sorry, this is a mistake, PL equal to +1. In this case, this signal passes. Now, so you can see that the which signal passes is dictated by the values of pH and PL. Now we have VBSK of t equal to 2ps under root pH of t cos omega ht plus theta h plus 2ps under root PL of t cos omega l t plus theta l. This has come from the previous figure that we discussed right now. Now we put the value of pH of t equal to half plus half into p hash of h and PL of t equal to half plus half of p hash of l. We do this because we want pH of t and PL of t to be 0 or 1, and we are supplying -1 or +1. So with the help of this we get 0 or 1 by applying -1 or 1. So this is why we have this relation here. Now using these three equations, this one that we got from the previous figure, we get the value of VBFSK as PS by 2 under root cos omega ht plus theta h plus PS by 2 whole root cos omega lt plus theta l plus PS by 2 under root p hash of h cos omega ht plus theta h plus PS of 2 slash under root into p hash of l into cos omega lt plus theta l. So now we will look at the spectrum, the spectral density function. Now if you look at the values closely here, what we have here is the reason that we are having an impulse function at fl and fh are these two functions here and here, ps by 2 under root cos of omega ht plus theta h and ps by 2 under root cos of omega lt plus theta l. But why are we having these two sinc functions here, one centered at fl and one at fh? This is because of these two terms. Now we can see that the value of this function goes from plus v to minus v, and we know that such functions uh, when we do the spectral density we get a sinc function, and because we are multiplying a cos term here with its frequency here being omega l and then omega h, the centers of these sinc functions are fl and fh respectively. So this is how we get this spectral density diagram here. Next we proceed to the receiver, that is where we receive the signal here. So we as we can see, we have two filters here. We receive a signal VBFSK, then we have two filters here. The filter A is matched to omega L and the filter B is matched to omega H. So this system has been made such that at any given moment, output of only one of the envelope detectors will pass to the comparator. So this is what exactly is happening here, and at any given moment only one of the signals will pass, either the high one or the low one. Now let's proceed to the geometric representation of BFSK. We will have two cases in this, either the signals are orthogonal or they're non-orthogonal. Let's take the case of the signal being orthogonal. So this is known as orthogonal BFSK. So what is an orthogonal BFSK? In a BFSK, if the two signals are orthogonal to each other, that is at an angle of 90 degree in signal space, then this is known as an orthogonal BFSK. Now, because the two signals are orthogonal, therefore they can be represented as harmonics of some common frequency, f common. So it's represented here, f of h, fh equal to m into f common, fl equal to n into f common. Now we have the two orthogonal signals here, V1t and V2t. V1t equal to 2 by Tb under root into cos of 2 pi m FBT, and V2t equal to 2 by Tb under root into cos of 2 pi n FBT. FB is the common frequency here. Now we know this condition, that if V1t into V2t is integrated over time period t, then the answer will be 0. This is because both of these signals are orthogonal. So now we proceed to the constellation diagram of the orthogonal BFSK. What we see here is V2t along the y-axis and V1t along this axis, and the first signal is along this axis and the second signal is along this axis, and we have the points here on 0 comma under root EB and under root EB comma 0, and the distance between these 2 points, these 2 signals, is 2 by 2 into EB whole under root. So this is the constellation diagram of the orthogonal BFSK. Now next, let us proceed to the non-orthogonal BFSK. Now as we saw in the previous case, the two signals were orthogonal. In this case, the signals are not orthogonal. So we can see we have two signals here, SH of t and SL of t, and we know that signals are not orthogonal, but we have this something up our sleeve. Gram-Schmidt procedure states that according to this, any signal can be written as a linear combination of two orthogonal signals. That is, we can write SH of t and SL of t, either one of them, as the linear combination of two orthogonal signals. So we first take SH of t as along this signal, that is S11 V1 into V1 of t. S11 is a constant here, and so is S12. S12 is a constant, and so is S22. We have three constants here. So we have assumed it along this, and SL of t is under root 2ps into cos omega L of t. Now as we can see here, because we have assumed it along S11, we are getting it here, the signal, and because the second signal SL of t is S12 into V1 of t plus S22 into V2 of t, I mean that, and we know V1 of t and V2 of t are orthogonal. See, in the first case we assumed that SH of t was along V1 of t, that is this. Now we wrote SL of t as the linear combination of V1 of t and V2 of t. So we get it somewhere here. Now if we calculate the distance between these 2 points, it comes to be S11 minus S12 whole square plus S22 square. So, and this is the constellation diagram of non-orthogonal BFSK. See, we have the distance here. We know why we took S11, we took the SH of t along the V1t and SL of t along V1 of t. We expressed it as a linear combination of these two orthogonal signals, that is V1 of t and V2 of t. Now what we need to do is find the value of these constants, that is S11, S12 and S22. So we proceed to do that. First we calculate S11. So we have this equation already, right? So now we square both the sides and then integrate them. Now we know that by orthonormalization, that the integration of v1 square of t dot dt equal to 1. So we get this value equal to 1. So we get the value of S11 square equal to integration over the time period t of 2ps into cos square omega h t dot dt, and then we get the value of S112. Now let's proceed to calculate the value of S12. For S12 we have this under root 2ps cos omega L t is equal to S12 V1t plus S22 V2t into V2t. Now we multiply both sides by V1 of t. Now when we do that, we get v1 square t term here and v1t v2t term here. Now we integrate both the sides. Now why did we do this? Because we know that uh, by the concept that these two signals are orthogonal, the integral of their multiplication over the time period t is 0. So hence we eliminated the term S22, and this we already know by orthonormalization this will be equal to 1. So we get the value of S12 equal to this term here, integration of v1t into 2ps under root into cos omega l t dot dt over the time period t. Now we finally need to calculate the value of S22. Now for S22, what we do is we have this equation, the same one as the previous one here. Now we square both the sides and then integrate both the sides. So on squaring, we get this term which is cancelled out by orthonormalization, and this 2 is cancelled out by orthonormalization. So they become 1 and 1. So these terms become S12 whole square and S22 square. So what this term is cancelled out because we know these two are orthogonal, so their integral will be 0 over t. So we get this value equal to S12 square plus S22 square. Now we already know the value of S12, which we calculated right here. So we will be using this value and then we'll calculate the value of S22. So this is the value of S12 and we'll square it, and this is the value of S22. Now we have all the three constants, and this will help us in finding out anything related to the non-orthogonal BFSK. Thanks a lot. Thank you.